Psych, lore, and insights.
Welcome to Psych, Lore, and Insights. Hi, Steve. I'm excited to talk about Benjamin Bugsy Siegel.
I am too, but we should not call him Bugsy because he hated that. It's kind of the mob world that whenever you're initiated into there, you get a nickname. And then when you're actually in, nobody calls you by that name to your face.
I'm just thinking what our mob nicknames would be.
Our mob nicknames. Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Well, you can't really nickname yourself. So we'll have to name each other.
It has to be given to you.
Okay, I'm going with Scooter for you, only because you had that name when you were young.
That was my name in my baseball team because there was two Steves, and I wasn't Steve anymore. I was Scooter because I scooted across the plates. I stole every base.
Yeah, so you're Scooter Steve.
Okay, I'm Scooter Steve. All right.
Okay, I'm waiting for mine.
What am I gonna? I don't know. Tiny Dancer.
Okay. Oh, I like that. I'm not tiny, but I do. Thank you.
You are
Tiny
tiny.
Dancer.
You're Tiny Dancer.
Tiny Dancer. I like it. All right, but I'm not going to hate it, and I'm going to allow people to call me Tiny Dancer.
And I won't allow people to call me Scooter.
Scooter Steve. I like it. I have to say it like that every time, too.
Scooter Steve.
So we are going back in time to like Tommy guns and G-Men and bootlegging. And so take yourself back in time.
So cool.
So we are going to talk about Benjamin Siegel and peek into his psychological playbook. June 20th, 1947 at 10:45 p.m., mobster Benjamin Bugsy Siegel was murdered by a gunman with a .30 caliber gun. He was shot through a window while sitting on a sofa reading the newspaper in his girlfriend's Virginia Hills, Beverly Hills mansion with his friend Alan Smiley. His friend, a mob friend.
Smiley. We're not supposed to call him Smiley. He'll come back and get us.
I'm going to call him Smiley.
We will call him Smiley.
Bugsy died instantly, and the shooter remains a mystery. So, for context, I wanted to know kind of what other world events were happening in 1947 to kind of set the scene. So, one thing was the Truman Doctrine. So, President Harry Truman announced the Truman Doctrine, pledging U.S. support for countries resisting communism. That was one thing. Another thing was Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. So in that year, he became the first African-American to play in the MLB, which is freaking awesome.
That's cool.
Also, the very first instant camera demonstration happened. Edwin Land demonstrated the first Polaroid. And then the very last thing was not the very last I'm going to mention was the Paris Peace Treaties. Signed in 47. It was kind of a more official ending to World War II for several of the countries, and it was a big deal. So here we are, 1947.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I just wanted to say I went to Las Vegas recently. I went to the Mob Museum, and if you ever go to Las Vegas, I highly suggest you go to the Mob Museum. I loved it so much that I went back-to-back days.
Wow. So I've been to Vegas I don't know, maybe 4 times. I've never been to the Mob Museum.
I had neither. I had been several times to Vegas, and it was, I think, $34, and it was awesome. It's world-class destination in downtown Las Vegas dedicated to the thrilling story of organized crime and law enforcement. So highly recommend it. It was, again, I went 2 days in a row. The first day, Jake went with me, my husband. And then the second day, I was like, I have to go back. And he was like, okay, I'm going to go. I think there was a pinball museum or something he went to. We're geeks. We like to go to museums. So.
That sounds like Jake. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I would have gone with him if I was there. I'd have let you go do your thing, and I would have gone to the pinball museum.
I want to see all the mob stuff. So Benjamin Siegel was born in Brooklyn, New York on February 28th, 1906. He grew up in Manhattan on the Lower East Side.
In Williamsburg.
Okay.
Well, it's in Brooklyn.
Give a shout out.
It's in Brooklyn, but it's a section called Williamsburg. And then he formed his own gang as a child. Yeah.
With Meyer. It was the Bugsy Meyer gang.
He started doing that stuff even earlier.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
So he started Well, he met him, but they were, and I don't know if it was with them with Meyer, but he was, I think he was like 12 years older. He had already dropped out of school, and he was like going downtown, and like the all the immigrants that were like had push carts. They were selling like dry goods and like fruit. They were usually like older Jewish men, and he would be like, "Hey, give me $1 and I'll take care of your cart." And they were like, "Get out of here, kid. Like, get the fuck out of here." And then he would light them on fire, the
Oh
carts.
my gosh. See, I didn't know any of this.
Oh no, he would light
Not the person, the cart.
no, not
Okay.
the person. He would light the
Said he
cart
was
on.
like,
No,
well, that's
he would
bad too.
he'd light the cart on fire, and they'd be like, what the hell?" And he was like, "That's why you owe me $1 a month, because that stuff won't happen to you." But it was his gang that was doing all that. So he was like, he knew the game really, really quick.
He was a stinker.
It reminds me of The Godfather. I
Hmm.
mean, that's everything that I've looked into this. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, there's so many things in the movie The Godfather that I think are taken from Bugsy Siegel's life, and like artists, their artistic liberty, they kind of put it into the movie. And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I think that is something that happens is that we romanticize the mob
Of course. Yeah.
and yeah, and we don't think about the horrible things that they actually did.
Absolutely terrible stuff. Yeah. But anyway, you continue.
Well, after he formed his own gang, he worked his way to affiliation. So basically, there were 5 families from Italy that were the mob, and you really
Yeah.
had to be Italian to be in the mob, but they had affiliates, right? Because Bugsy was Jewish. So, again, after he formed his own gang, he worked his way into affiliation with the mob. The mob also called the outfit, sent him to California to oversee the interests in the West.
Yeah.
And that included gambling, the movie industry. I did not realize how influential the mob was in the movie industry in Hollywood back then.
Huge. That's what it
Isn't
brings me
that
back again to the movie The Godfather.
hmm
The Godfather, he granted a gift to someone to get into the movie industry. Or no, he was like a singer, he was a performer, but he got him into that. But then
hmm
if they give you that favor, you owe them whenever they need you. So yeah, it's crazy. The mob was huge in Hollywood.
I know I've seen one because okay, in Rocky, Adrian, the
Mhm.
actress that played
Oh,
Adrian is
she's in
in
The Godfather.
Godfather 1, right?
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
in 2 as well.
okay, I remember her, and then I remember the horse head being in the bed.
Yeah.
But I need to go rewatch it. It's been a long time.
Well, so that's really weird that you brought up the horse's head, is because you're talking about like Hollywood. So The Godfather promised this guy a part in a movie. So he went and asked the producer or the director, like, put him in the movie. And he was like, no, screw off. And that's when his prize horse, the horse's head was found in his bed in the morning. Just like, you don't tell us no.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
Poor horse. I just feel
I
sorry for the
know.
horse.
Exactly.
So, in addition to the gambling and the movie industry, they were overseeing the unions and the race wire service. So, the horse races. He saw the potential of casino interests. So, the unpredictability of profits, it presented an opportunity so they could skim without notice. Bugsy was key in creating the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. He initially tried to buy one called the El Rancho in Las Vegas
Oh, I
in
didn't even know that.
1941. Yeah, it was a very Western themed
Sounds like it.
hotel
El
casino.
Rancho.
Mhm. El Rancho. It was on Highway 91 and it was very Western themed resort. But the owner, Thomas Hull, refused to sell it to him. But Oddly enough, a couple months later, he sold it to somebody else. Then Billy Wilkerson initially planned to build the Flamingo on Highway 91, which is now the Strip in Las Vegas, with an estimated $1.2 million. But Wilkinson had a bit of a gambling problem and lost millions of dollars.
Go
So
figure.
go figure, he reached out to the mob for some financial backing. And so that's where Siegel became involved.
The reason Bugsy went, he had a ship whenever he went to LA. He had a ship because it was the end of Prohibition. So they weren't making money off of bootlegging anymore. They sent him to the West Coast. It was after the 21st Amendment at the end of Prohibition. There wasn't really any way to make money bootlegging anymore. So he focused on gambling. So he set up a ship that was 3 miles off the coast of Santa Monica. It was the SS Rex, REX, and it was a gambling ship. But then he got busted.
Man,
So right after that, that's when he went to Las Vegas.
I didn't know anything about that. But Prohibition, what I learned in researching this, I thought it was for a very short time. I don't know
It-
why. In my mind, I thought it was a couple years, but it was from 1920 all the way to 1933.
I thought
I
it was
did not-
36.
It was
Well,
repealed.
yeah. No, I think, yeah.
It
But
was
it took a
repealed.
while for, yeah.
It was 1920 and then repealed December 5th, 1933. And that was the only time a constitutional amendment has ever been repealed.
And it wasn't from the 18th to the 21st. I think it was the 21st Amendment that overturned it.
So, yeah, I think that was the right call.
Absolutely.
But I did not know it was 13 years.
I didn't know it lasted that long either.
When I see movies about prohibition and bootlegging, I'm like, oh, that was like a couple years.
That was in the
No,
20s,
It
a
was
couple
over
years.
a decade. It was over a decade.
Can you imagine? Man.
So then Siegel became involved with the Flamingo Hotel. As Siegel became involved, he pushed Wilkerson out by buying him out for $600,000. But initially, he only paid him $300,000. He never paid the rest. Never got the rest of that dough.
No, and that's where isn't that where the skimming, back on the East Coast, all the families were like, where's our money going? Like, what's happening? This guy is skimming off the top, So
Yeah, because he
I
was
think that's
spending
where,
so much money. They were
and he
not
went
happy.
way over budget. It's just, yeah.
So Del Webb is the contractor out of actually Phoenix, Arizona, I
Oh.
believe. And he is the one that built the Flamingo. And it was funny because he had heard Bugsy say that he had killed 12 people. And he had this look on his face like, what? And then Bugsy told him, don't worry, Webb. We only kill our own, or we only kill each other, which is not true, right?
Wow. I haven't heard
But
that.
yeah, so the Flamingo was going to be totally different than the other casinos that were
I think they only had
in
like
Las Vegas at the
2.
time.
I think
Yeah,
they
and
only
they were
had
very
2.
Western themed. There was
Yeah.
the Last Frontier and the El Rancho that he tried to buy. And they were both
Yeah.
like very Western, Las
Yeah.
Vegas, it was very deserty and everything. So this was a totally new concept. It's going to be all posh and lush and
Mhm.
fancy smancy, very modern looking.
Yeah. And then he was doing all kinds of just trying to make it so lush and invite so many celebrities and stuff out for the opening and all that.
So they had 3 openings. The first one was just for locals, and that was in 1946. And then they had
Mhm.
the second grand opening was the one that you were talking about, the celebrities. He invited all these celebrities and rich people, and the opening was a fiasco because the rooms weren't ready, pools weren't ready, anything, just the casino. And oddly enough, everybody was winning that night. So they took all this money and went and spent it at other casinos because
Yep.
they had to go stay somewhere, right? So
So they
then
couldn't stay there. So
Right.
they had to go stay somewhere.
They just
But
took all
he
that money and went down the road.
went down the road to another casino. And then a bigger part of the reason that a bunch of the celebrities didn't show up, I was researching it. It was a time of year and there was a bad storm. So all flights and stuff were delayed. So that's why a bunch of celebrities didn't show up. And it was just locals. And he was like, damn. It was
It was a disaster.
Yeah, it was total disaster.
So he had to completely shut down the casino and hotel to stop the bleeding of money and finish all the rooms and do all the things. And then that's when they had the third grand opening, March 1st, 1947. And by that time, he had exceeded spending $6 million. So the mob was not happy with him.
Not at all.
That's
They're like,
their money.
where is our money? You
Mhm.
don't screw with the mob.
Yeah. And, the mob was very interested in the casinos because, again, the winnings were unpredictable, the money, it was easy to use it as a front for other activities. It was easy to skim profits off from the casino owners. So,
And then he
Go
did,
ahead.
I think on the third one, did, they did start showing like profits,
That's
if I'm
good, but it wasn't
correct.
good enough.
But it wasn't good enough. And they
They
had
got-
already made the decision,
Mhm.
this guy's got to go.
And, he got shot. He got shot. And as soon as he was murdered, mob associates were in the hotel, in the casino, and they just started announcing, "We are now in charge."
Yeah, they
Gus
just burst
Greenbaum,
in the doorway and said, "This belongs to us now."
we're in charge. And nobody questioned it. They were like, okay. It
All
was
right.
Gus Greenbaum and Mo Sedway.
And Mo, that brings me back to The Godfather. Everything in
me.
this brings me back to The Godfather. So
I gotta rewatch it.
Mo Green, his name was Mo Green in The Godfather 2.
Wait, so that we have Gus Greenbaum and Mo Sedway, and
now we have
Mo
Mo
Green?
Green. So
Coincidence.
Francis Ford Coppola, that wrote The Godfather, or produced it. There was another guy, Mario Puzo is the one that actually wrote it, but Francis Ford Coppola is the one that did the movie. So they co-wrote it together, but you have this character, Mo Green, and it's the scene in the movie where Michael Corleone comes in and his brother is working for Mo Green that is running a casino hotel, or trying to help run a casino hotel in Vegas. And then they take out Mo Green. I'm like, that's where they got Mo Green from. It's
I think you're right.
It's like straight out of this. Yeah. There's so many. It was just blowing my mind. Like everything reminded me of Godfather. I'm just saying.
That's really interesting. And then 6 years after that grand opening, the partners spent $1 million to remodel, and they replaced the original sign. It was like a huge 80 feet tall sign, 10 stories high, and comedian Jack Benny flipped the switch that night to light it up on November
Jack
11th,
Benny?
1953. Yep.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yep. In 1971, federal prosecutors charged the owners and other mobsters with conspiracy by skimming $36 million from 1960 to 1968, and they got prison time. So there was this floor safe that was discovered again during a remodel. They were replacing the carpet in Bugsy's original office in 1972, 25 years after he was murdered. The news went international, and they had this unveiling of this safe that was covered by a television crew. It reminds me of the Geraldo Rivera.
I was just gonna say with
Yeah.
Geraldo.
What was it?
And
What
it was
was
empty.
it that?
There was
But
nothing
what was
there.
it that they? No.
It was another mobster's locker or safe or something.
Something. Anyway, it was a big deal. But
And they did it live on TV and nothing happened.
So that's what happened here. It was covered by television. Everyone wondered what was in the safe. Was it money, jewels? Was it bodies? And then this Art Tettinger of a safe and lock company opened it after drilling for 4 hours. He broke 2 drill bits trying to get in this thing. And he found a paperclip and some bits of paper and a sliver of wood. It was basically
My
empty.
God.
Yeah.
I'm looking up Geraldo Rivera right now.
Yeah, what was it that
What
was the big reveal?
it was Al Capone's. It was Al Capone's
Safe?
thing. Yeah.
What thing?
It was Al Capone's tomb, safe, or something. Let me see. We can cut all this out. Geraldo Rivera, Al Capone. Al Capone's vault.
Okay.
They didn't find anything.
Yeah, same
No.
Z's here.
And it was on live TV. Everybody tuned in. And it was
Yep.
like big letdown. Nothing was in there.
Same thing.
Wow. I did not know that.
I was just listening to a podcast. No, it wasn't a podcast. It was an audiobook today. Like 10 most infamous psychiatric hospitals in American history. And it mentioned Geraldo Rivera going undercover as an investigative reporter and shutting this facility down. So, so he did a lot of interesting things.
Wow.
So the Flamingo Hotel was acquired by the Hilton Hotels in 1971. And they spent $130 million renovating it. And in 1993, a small outdoor memorial was erected in memorial to Siegel. There are no original flamingo structures remaining.
There's none?
Not original.
Wow.
Another major renovation in 2019, all owned by Caesars. I have some pics from last time I went to Vegas, so I'll throw them up.
Throw them out. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a current sign and a picture of the flamingo exhibit.
And the flamingo is still open, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is
So-
the oldest one that's still there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I kind of felt that way whenever I went to the Tropicana, because in the back of the Tropicana, you also have like flamingos, pelicans, and stuff like back there. And that kind of reminds me of that.
The Bellagio is really cool. The indoor gardens.
I've never been in I've been in the Bellagio. I walked through it. First time I ever went to Vegas, they were actually building the Bellagio.
What?
It was under construction. And then
what year was it constructed?
the next year, the next time that I went back, it was done. So the first time I ever went, it was in 97 and the Bellagio was being built. So it had to be after 97 that the Bellagio was
I
finished.
didn't know it was that new.
Oh, it was very new.
Oh, yeah. It was open 1998.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So it was the next year. So I was staying at the Luxor. The Luxor was brand new whenever I stayed there. And then the Bellagio was being built while I was there.
And the
I was like,
Tropicana
what
is
all this?
it's no
Tropicana's
more.
old. It's
No,
not
they
there
knocked-
anymore?
No, I think it was like a year or two ago. They just demolished it and they're putting up, I think, a baseball field or something like that.
Well, that's sad.
I know. It's sad because I had stayed there at the Tropicana and I
love the
loved
Tropicana.
Me too. It's fun.
I would go there for breakfast. They had the best
Yeah.
breakfast.
Mm,
Oh,
it's
that
sad.
sucks.
I know. It does suck. I agree. So I wanted to talk.
So Virginia Hill, you were talking about
Yes,
Virginia Hill.
Virginia Hill. Let's talk about her.
So let's talk about her. Let me get to the right part on my paperwork here. So she was basically his double. She was just a female version of him.
That's a good way to look at
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
she was like, so she was poor. She grew up the exact same way. She was born in Alabama or grew
Mhm.
up in Alabama.
Yeah. In 1916, she was born in Alabama.
1916. And then they were in poverty. And then as a teenager, she went to Chicago, and then she kind of got into the orbit of the mob. She just kind of drifted into it in Chicago. And, it was different than she grew up with, being in poverty and everything. It offered like money, excitement, stuff like, that she wasn't used to. And I haven't looked up a picture of her, but it says she was strikingly beautiful and she was very intelligent, but she served as a courier and a banker in the syndicate. She was carrying cash, relaying messages and all this. And she was in constant contact with the bosses between Chicago and New York. And she was well compensated and she was very trusted. And so her and Siegel got together and, she has, her own goals.
Here's a picture of her.
My God, she is beautiful. That's
Yeah.
her? She looks like a movie star.
She does. I got this book at the Mob Museum, Gangster Women.
Oh,
So
my
she's
goodness.
she's in, yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
But so I guess she was like putting money. She was going to like Zurich and like hiding money in Switzerland and stuff like that. And that's what like tipped off the mob. They're like, he's got to go. And I don't know for sure, but I think she knew that that was coming. Like, yeah, he's got to go.
I think they sent her out of the country on purpose.
Yeah. And they're like, but I guess from what I've looked up, they had a real tumultuous relationship. So
Yes.
they would fight a lot,
Mhm.
but whenever they would make up, it was just as, I don't know,
Intense?
just as intense. And they like loved each other. It was like, and it's weird for me because I've been in a relationship like that before where you fight, fight, fight. But then whenever you make up, it's so good. It's so nice. I guess that's like the relationship that they had. But then at the end, she's just like, no, he's got to go. I was like, damn, that is a man, just a stab in the back. It's like, well, that's the way. I mean, we're in this business. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, and she may have had a clue. I don't know that she weighed in on the decision.
Well, she was probably ordered.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And
She probably
one of
didn't
the
want it.
theories, because they never caught who killed Bugsy, but one of the theories is that her brother may have done it because of their very violent relationship and tumultuous relationship, that it was her
Yeah.
brother. But everyone pretty much agrees that it was a mob hit.
Yeah. I think that 100%.
The police
Because
chief at the time was C.H. Anderson, and he stated, there might be 100 different people that wanted Siegel out of the way. There were plenty who had motive to kill him, but it was well known that it was a mob hit.
I'm sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, like all the movies, I know this is dumb to say, but all the movies that we watch and everything, I think they're based on like real life and it sounds like a mob hit. So Occam's razor.
Sounds like a mob hit, looks like a mob hit, smells like a mob hit. It's probably a mob hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the mobs in America, I mean, they were mostly immigrants, right? That
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
came over from other countries. And there was this old Italian saying from an immigrant that states, I came to America because I heard the streets were paved with gold. When I got here, I found out three things. The first was they were not paved with gold. The second thing was they were not paved at all. And the third thing was I was expected to pave them. So they came to the US with all of these hopes and dreams of this better life. And, you had the Irish, the Chinese, the Italians, Jewish, and they came and they were faced with famine and persecution, poverty, discrimination, crowded apartments with rats, tuberculosis, low paying jobs, dangerous jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They were making $1 an hour. So the police departments at the time were very newly formed and they didn't have very much training. And so it was very, it was easy for these mobsters to kind of get the cops to buy in and turn a cheek or even take a buck or two
Well,
for
they'll
allowing
take,
them to be.
yeah, a lot of the cops were paid off.
Mhm.
Just like you give me a couple bucks, I'll shut my mouth.
Right. Look the other way. But
Yeah.
at the Mob Museum, because I always like to talk about some psychiatry and psychology involved, they have
Yeah.
this board up that has like different characteristics of and habits of somebody who would eventually become a mob member as a kid, getting older, and then as an adult. So I wanted to kind of read some of those.
Yeah.
So as a kid, you would see some difficulty in school, which isn't a big surprise, but street smarts, right? They were struggling in
Absolutely.
school, but they had the street smarts. Bullying, they would be bullies, ongoing discipline problems, tough talker, maybe a charmer. They'd either be like a leader type or a follower, either one. Taking
Yeah.
shortcuts a lot, doing petty crime and being picked up, it said, for mopery, such
Mopery.
as loitering, basically.
Oh, okay.
That's what they called it, mopery. Don't be moping
I've
around.
never heard that. All right.
Mopery it was.
I have to put that in
And
the
then
noggin. So next
yes,
time I go to trivia, I'll be like, they'll ask a question like, what's another word for loitering? I'll be mopery.
mopery. Yeah. And then as they get older, they're acting a little crazy. They're hot-headed, antisocial, foul-mouthed, extorting.
Ooh, not foul mouthed.
Yes, foul-mouthed, saying all the bad words. Multiple arrests, acting like a tough guy, act like a celebrity and looks like a nobody. That was my favorite.
That's cool.
Acting like a celebrity, looking like a nobody, not doing well at regular type jobs, right? And some jail time. And then as they reach adulthood, like a flashy dresser, flashing cash, but also hoarding cash on the side. They have a mistress or multiple affairs. Very patriotic, but at the same time cheating the government, seeking revenge, ruthless, but somewhat intelligent. So I thought that was interesting.
I feel bad because a lot of that stuff sounds like me.
Are you in
No,
the mob?
I'm just kidding.
Scooter Steve.
Scooter Steve.
So mob mentality. Restart. So mob mentality. Mob members exhibit high levels of psychiatric morbidity, including trauma-related disorders, personality pathology, substance use disorders, right? No shock there, anxiety. But studies have shown there is a difference between like mob members and like gang type members. So PTSD is huge because they have a lot of like adverse childhood events and trauma growing up, food insecurities, and could be parents that are violent. Lots
Don't
of
know
different
anything about that.
exposures.
Don't know
A lot
anything
of
about
different
that.
exposures. Oy vey. But studies have shown that gang members report an exposure of about 10 different traumatic events in their childhood. That's a lot, 10.
That is. No.
And then antisocial personality disorders, highly prevalent with gang members. So I just want to kind of skim over this. Okay. So again, with antisocial personality disorder, we have to distinguish between somebody who has an ongoing behavior pattern of that, or if they're just in a gang doing these type of behaviors for a survival
Yeah.
kind of technique. But if it's pervasive and ongoing, then, you start looking at the antisocial personality disorder. And then, but with the mafia, separate from the gang members, because we're peeling those apart, they don't really meet the criteria for psychopathy. It's looking more like deviant social behavior than individual psychopathy. So it's like they get into this group and it's just kind of this social deviant behavior.
And then they kind of, if you get into a group like that, you feed off each other and everybody fuels the next person. So it's like, I don't, it just grows.
And they're not going to reach out for help, right? Because
No,
they're isolating. The gang rules prohibit them from talking to anyone about what's going on inside the gang.
like it's snitches get stitches,
Right. Yeah. You
You
just shut your
don't-
mouth.
Shut your mouth. Don't talk to any police. Don't talk to anybody. You didn't see anything. Just shut your mouth.
I wanted to do some fun facts about Las Vegas and then also
Yes.
play a little game with you.
Okay.
So-
oh my God.
so-
I don't know if I'm ready for a game.
You're
Okay.
ready.
All
But
right.
I'll do
go.
I just
I'll do it.
bumped my mic. Okay, but I will do the fun facts first. So in Las Vegas, there are over 150 marriages a day. That's a lot.
Are those drive-through ones?
Well, no, they have those little chapels you
The
walk
little
in. That's where I got
chapels.
married.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know you
Little
did.
white chapel
That's
with
awesome.
Elvis. It was fun.
I thought that was so cool. But
And then number 2, the Strip is not actually in Las Vegas. I did not know this.
What?
It is in Winchester and Paradise, which are little communities, I guess, right next to Las Vegas. But it's not actually, the address is not in Las Vegas.
What?
I don't know. Look it
Okay.
up.
I'll have to
And
look that
then, of course, we
Alright.
already know this one, but there are no clocks and no windows in the casinos. No
Yeah.
clocks, no windows.
up. They don't want you to know the time.
The MGM Grand in Las Vegas is the world's largest hotel. Largest hotel in the entire world.
Well, I did wander through there for a very, very long time looking for a hotel room, and I couldn't find it. So yeah, I believe that. There were so many rooms and so many turns. I was like, yeah, no.
I will tell you exactly how many rooms
Okay. I'm
are
ready.
in the MGM. 6,852.
I was going to say like 2,500. 6,000. Wait, say that again.
6,852.
That is insane. There's not that
And-
many on a cruise ship.
Las Vegas means what in Spanish? Do you know?
Vegas. Why don't I know this? I know Spanish.
I never even thought about it.
Vegas.
I was like, how do I not know this?
Vegas. Vegas. Oh my God. I'm going to punch myself in the face. Tell me.
Don't. I'll punch you next time I see you.
Okay.
It's Spanish for the meadows.
The Meadows?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So I lied.
Are you ready for a game?
Okay.
Okay. So when we were in Vegas the last time, we were walking around the casinos, and I don't gamble at all, but I like to look at all the slot machines. And I was looking at all the names of the slot machines, and I was like, well, those sound a lot like video games. So I put together a few slot machine names and video game names. And so you have to pick. I'm going to say two, and I'll give you the easy one first as the example. So I'll give you both titles, and you have to say which one is the slot machine and which one is the video game. So easy one first, just so you can figure it out. So the slot machine or video game. So the titles are Frogs or Frogger.
I know Frogger.
Which is which?
Frogger.
Is what?
Frogger is the video game.
Correct. So I gave you the easy one first, so you'll understand how we're playing the game. Okay.
Okay. I thought they were going to be the same name. But okay. All right. So I have to pick which one is
I'm going to give
which.
you a name of a video game and a name of a slot machine. But you have to match.
Which one is the game and which one is or the video game and which one is the slot machine?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. The titles are Dead Island and Day
of the Dead is a video game.
Ding ding ding. Yes.
I got it.
You got it. Yes.
Sweet. Yes.
Okay. So the next one is Aztec Treasure or Treasure Planet and Treasure Planet. Match slot machine title and video game title. Aztec Treasure and Treasure Planet.
Aztec Treasure slot machine.
Ding 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 ding. You're good at this game.
My God, are you kidding?
You got it right. Okay, I got two more.
Okay.
You're really good at this game. You're 3 for 3. Okay. Titles: Aftershock and System Shock. Aftershock, System Shock. Slot machine, video game.
Aftershock video game. Shit.
It's okay. You are doing really well. Aftershock is a slot machine, and System Shock is a video game.
Damn, I got it mixed up. All right.
That's okay. All right, our last and final.
Okay.
Redeem yourself here. Titles: Action Dragons and
Dragon Crown.
Action Dragons and Dragon Crown.
Action Dragons is a slot machine.
Ding, 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 ding. Good job. You're 4 for 5. That's awesome. You did better than I thought you were going to do.
I only missed one.
I know.
Sweet.
That was good. I have one more question for you.
I think we got it.
Do you think that the mob still exists today?
1,000%. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, AI says yes. Not to the extent that it was back, during the 5 families back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. But
I'm just thinking about The Godfather, and I was like, you got the Corleones, you got the Linguinis, you got the Calderonis. I was just like, I was just going off. Yeah, that totally still in existence. Calderonis. I cracked myself up with the Calderonis.
The Calderonis. Oh my God, that could be your mob name, Calderoni.
I'm James Calderoni.
I like Scooter Steve.
Scooter Steve. Okay.
When I was going to the mob museum, I don't remember if it was the first or second time, but I took an Uber, and the Uber driver was telling me, the prices in Vegas have gotten so ridiculous. It is so expensive to go there. The food is expensive. The rooms are expensive. Everything is out of control. And he said, I think he was kind of joking mostly, but he said a lot of people there they actually wish that the mob would come back because they could bring down the prices and control that better.
I believe that 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So.
Because they can.
That.
Yep. And they can, I don't know. It's just, they know how to manage things like that way better than anybody else. I mean, there's some nasty stuff behind it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you have any stories about Las Vegas or the mob, if you're in the mob, if you know somebody in the mob,
If you're
if you have a
in the
family member in the mob,
I'd love to hear somebody from the mob. Yes, please.
email us if you're in the mob. psychloresarah@gmail.com or psychloressteve@gmail.com. Please rate and subscribe. Tell a friend. Stay curious and stay psyched.
Absolutely.
Psych.